In this video, we're going to talk about some breaking news. One of the largest employee retention, the ERC, fraud cases in U.S. history had just been exposed, with 7 individuals, including an individual named Keith Williams, not relation to me, indicted for allegedly attempting to steal over $600 million in pandemic relief funds. I'm going to tell you what really happened. What are the potential consequences for these individuals? So I want you to stick around and pay attention. And also, there are 8,000 people who were customers of theirs who are also potentially going to receive some sort of indictments. And what caught my attention when I was reading over the case, this was one that just caught my attention. Something that really caught my attention was the 941 forms. Now, the 941 forms is one of the forms that people were talking about with this, what did they call it? This, something sandwich, W4 sandwich, a 941 form. That 941 form is only a form that employers are supposed to file to the federal government, to the IRS, for taxes paid to their employees. They were falsifying the 941 forms. In some of these YouTube videos where people are saying you can get paid for stuff with a 1099 OID form, 1099A form. One of the documents that they have people submit for those, and also that fake W4 sandwich thing that was going around, was a fake 941 form where they had the individual fill out a 941 form. Never do that. Never do that. That is exactly how the IRS tracks companies for what they do for the taxes paid on employees. And also for unemployment, the 941 forms are also for unemployment insurance. They require 941 forms. So this form, it's easy to find out if it's fraudulent, because if you're going to have a 941 form to the IRS, which is what was utilized for these ERC refunds, and they also falsified taxes, you're supposed to also have that provided with unemployment insurance. And because it was fraudulent, that never happened. So it was easy for the federal government to, number one, track down that these were false with a lot of people, and that there was no unemployment insurance ever filed with the 941 form. That 941 form is utilized for a lot of things for business. I'm not going to go into all of them, but there's multiple agencies and vendors that I use for my company that require us to file a copy of the 941 form with them. This is basically like a way of you stating that your company is legitimate and that you're legitimately paying taxes on your employees that are working for you. Before I get started, I was cleaning up my office, and I found this book here. It's an infantry book when I was in the United States Army, and that's a picture of me right there. That's a picture of me right there. And my wife was asking the other day, why did they take a picture of you in there? There was probably about 100 of us in my unit when I was in basic training. And she was like, why did they take a picture of you? And this, I can tell you that this picture was like a prelude? Is that what they say? Prelude to what I would be doing in my life for business. Because the infantry is all about follow me. The infantry is the people, the soldiers that are up out front on their foot. And they say, follow me, I'm going to protect you. And if you saw my video, the first one I did for 2025, you need to go back and see it. I said that this year, 2025, you're going to have to follow me. I'm going to be like that uncle. I'm going to be like that parent for some of you that are a lot younger than me, or a grandfather for you that are a lot younger than me, that uncle, brother, cousin, whoever. Because I'm going to do my best to have you focus on what you need to focus on, which is the number one, stay away from the gimmicks. Dig in to get your credit repaired. Get it done right so you don't have to look over your shoulder, so you can move forward, so you can start paying less for the same things that people who have good credit pay for, and so you can start building wealth because you're able to save money because you're paying less because your credit is repaired and you're paying less for the things that people with bad credit pay more for. It's like you just flipped it, reversed it. So let's get into it. So breaking news, the largest employee retention ERC fraud case in U.S. history has just been exposed with 7 individuals, including Keith Williams, not related to me. And what's crazy, though, is I do have a cousin named Keith, but his last name isn't Williams. Indicted for allegedly attempted to steal over $600 million in pandemic relief funds. Now, when they say attempted to steal, from the indictment, I saw that they did get around that number. It's been reported a little bit different with different news sources. So this is how the scheme worked. So here's what exactly the Employment Retention Credit ERC is. You've heard the commercials telling you even if you're a sole proprietor, you can file it, just straight up scam. Like these companies, they contact me at first it was like on a daily basis, then it was monthly. Told them I'm not interested in it. Number one, my businesses didn't have a shortfall during the pandemic, so I wouldn't be truthful about it. And then also when I looked at that for one of my companies that did have a little bit of a shortfall, just to see what it was about, it's going to be modifying taxes, and I'm not into doing anything like that. But none of my companies, even when I did the numbers and stuff, they didn't qualify. And when looking at the tax modification that you'd have to do on your taxes, I'm the type of individual, when I file my taxes and they're done, I don't want to do any amendments or nothing. They've given me money back. I've had to pay extra in some cases, but I don't like doing all of this amendment stuff. It's just me. So the federal program was designed to help businesses keep employees on payroll during the COVID-19 pandemic. But instead of using it for its intended purposes, William and his co-conspirators allegedly submitted more than 8,000 fraudulent tax returns, claiming over $600 million in refunds. They didn't stop there. According to the indictment, they successfully received over $44 million, which they spent on luxury cars, designer goods, and high-end real estate. So the fraud didn't go unnoticed for long. The Department of Justice launched an investigation leading into multiple charges, including conspiracy to defraud the United States government, wire fraud, aiding and assisting in preparation of false tax returns. These are not small charges. If convicted, the defendants could face upwards of 20 years in prison for wire fraud and 5 years for conspiracy, and up to 3 years for assisting in tax fraud. The case is a huge sign for anyone, a huge warning sign for anyone thinking of cheating the system. The government cracks down on ERC fraud, and they've seen multiple arrests and convictions for other individuals that were doing the same thing, and you can see what's going down with this one right here. So what do you think about this case? Should the penalties be harsher for the pandemic relief fraud? Drop your thoughts into the comments below. Tell me what you think about it. We've talked about the PPP fraud. Now it's going to be a lot of ERC fraud. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of companies that are going to get hit. And here's the thing that I want you to think about is that it goes in reverse. So the company gets caught, but then any individuals that they utilize their name, their information that was willingly allowing them to do it, they are going to start, it's like it's just going to roll back downhill. If you find yourself in the situation that fraud, you're going to have to get ahead of it if it was for fraud. But if you find yourself where the federal government, the IRS, comes to you and they say, we know that you got this money on a fraudulent basis and we're giving you the opportunity to pay the money back rather than face any type of trial or court consequences, you need to step up to the plate and go ahead and do that. Maybe you can work out some type of settlement arrangement, but you should step up to the plate on that because you don't want to suffer any of the consequences that could come about from not answering, number one, answering the summons, and number two, answering any IRS debt demand letters that may come to you. I wanted to let you know about this because there are so many gimmicks, scams, stuff that is just out there. It just amazes me of the things that people are trying to have people do. And I just want to say, and I've said this before, everything that I talk about with credit repair, I've either had to do it for myself or do it for clients. We've been in business now going on 19 years. Anything that we do with helping people with lawsuits, even though we're not attorneys, even though we can't give legal advice, we can still give you information on how you can help yourself. And we do have services where we can assist you with representing yourself. And that is 100% legal. But the important part about the whole thing is that it's not anything that I have not done for myself. I had to represent myself against a credit card company in the 1990s. And I've helped thousands of my clients do it for themselves. And we've gotten excellent results. When it comes to understanding how to deal with debt collectors, I've dealt with debt collectors myself personally. And I've helped thousands of my clients deal with debt collectors personally. As a matter of fact, we just submitted, you know what those are? Those are certified mail statements to debt collectors. A few of them were attempting to collect debt that was past legal statute of limitations to collect, and the individual notified them and they did not, just like ignored them. So we said, okay, we have a way to get their attention and to make sure that they're going to do what they're supposed to do when they're trying to come after you for time barred debt, or AKA debt that's past the legal statute of limitations. I've utilized this for myself, and I've utilized that for thousands of my customers. So what I talk about on my channel may not be, as sexy as the other people might make it seem. I don't have the gold chains hanging from my neck. I don't have the expensive watch. But the stuff that I tell you to do is stuff that I have either had to do for myself or I've done for my customers. But really, when it comes to credit, dealing with lawsuits, dealing with debt collectors, dealing with debt settlement, I've done all of them for myself. So there's really nothing that I haven't had to do for myself that I'm not going to be able to talk to you about. So if you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video What Makes a Difference so you can see my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process for you. Need your credit reports and scores? Go to the website your3scores.com to grab your TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian credit reports and all 3 scores. If you have debt collectors coming after you, grab my 3-pack of letters: statute of limitations, debt validation, and cease and desist collection activities letter. Thank you for your time. Subscribe to the channel. Post your questions and comments, especially about what you believe should happen with these individuals. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.